What's up, guys? It's Kiki Link here with Zemidek. I did a video on his game room about a month ago. We're doing a little follow-up video here. I'm going to ask him some questions, a little interview, and we'll take it from there. Thank you guys for watching. Zemidek, what's going on, man?
How you
Thank
doing,
you for
bro?
having me, bro.
Thank you
You
for
want to introduce yourself?
What's going on, guys? My name is Zemidek, or at least the channel name. Everybody around places knows me as Vampire, right? Got a lot of names, go by a lot of names, man. Been doing this for a while, 10 plus years on Twitch, and we got the YouTube going as well. We got the mostly is the streaming though, so you can catch me on Twitch every day for sure. Just IRL streaming and gaming.
Hell yeah. Twitch.tv, Zemidek. Like you said, man, he's been doing it for a long time. Some of y'all may know, some of y'all may not. It's actually my brother, right? Same mom, same father. So we've been together for my whole life, right? So like I said, we're here to ask some questions, man, get to know you a little bit better. Everybody follow him on Twitch, right? YouTube, right? Zemidek everywhere, right?
Yeah, it's
Zemidek.
Yeah, Facebook. It's gonna be Facebook Gaming, YouTube, Twitch, X, and I think that Instagram as well. So that's all the socials right now.
Hell yeah. So Twitch, right? Streaming is part of majority of what you do.
Yes,
right?
sir.
Of course, you got a little bit of a little collection going on here, right? So we want to start with this, kind of smaller than your streaming career, right? Smaller than your Twitch channel. So let's start with that, man. I mean, you got a small collection here, right? Well, maybe not small. I mean, pretty big. What made you want to start collecting?
So I would consider my collection small, because I've seen a big collection. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've seen a lot bigger collections than the one I have. So I would consider my collection pretty small, but it's also not like minuscule or like a tiny collection. I do admit that I've racked up like maybe over 500 games maybe across all platforms. As far as what made me want to start collecting, I think the first thing that made me start collecting was, you probably know this, it was just like influence from my older brother, right? Like our older brother.
Yeah.
He was also like a big collector. He started collecting a lot earlier than we did, or that I did, right? Because he was older. He started making his own money earlier.
Yeah.
Started buying his own games, right? And I took influence from that. So that's really what it kind of like started it, right? And then as I started getting older and as I started collecting more, it started becoming a little bit more about the game preservation aspect of things, right? Whereas a lot of the retro games, right? You see, we have a little bit of original Xbox on that side. We have some Xbox 360 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The full games on the disc. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the cartridges, right? Nintendo 64 and stuff like that. Your full game, you're getting it in your product and stuff like that. So you'll always have that game on your person, right?
Yeah.
So you'll always be able to put the disc in, put the cartridge in, and you'll be able to play the full game from start to finish.
Yeah.
Without having to worry about being online, without having to worry about like paying for a subscription, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's really what it's a little bit more about now these days, right? But initially it was like our older brother getting into collecting, and also just bringing up the value, right? Like having something valuable, something that you can always like be proud of, and that's definitely one of the things as well. Just wanting to have something to keep like trying to collect or keep trying to like grow and have something that you can be proud of and something that's valuable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that pretty much sums up where it came from, or what it is that started me into collecting and keeps me wanting to collect. Also, it looks cool, man. Like the statues, mainly the whole limited edition collecting is because of the statues. Like that's the biggest thing for me, has always been, if the game's got a cool statue, I want it, right? So as far as like the games, we already went over that, but like the statues, right? It's just because I want it to look cool on the shelf. Plus it gives you value, like it has value in it, right? I have a sealed Spider-Man 2 collectors right? I haven't opened it.
Yeah.
And I got it because of that, because of like, oh, the Venom statue, right? That shit looks cool. But I never opened it. I never opened it. I never opened it. I might as well not open it anymore. It's been over a year that the game's been out, 2 years. So that also kind of like keeps its value and it starts going up in value, right? But yeah, like the collector's editions and stuff like that, it's always been about the statue looks cool. I want to display it, you know, and it's valuable. It drives up in value over time. I missed out on the Doom Dark Ages. That shit has a really cool statue. I didn't get it. Lately, I haven't been collecting that much, but I will get back on it, you know, eventually. But yeah, that's really mostly like all I can think of in terms of the collecting, you know, retro games and stuff like that. It just, you know, you're able to always have that. I think it might not be the same for everybody because, like, I grew up playing Nintendo 64, original Nintendo, and Super Nintendo, stuff like that. So on top of the whole game preservation, on top of the value, on top of the collecting, it's the nostalgia. You know, you get to always remember what it was like, you know, putting the game in and turning on the console, and sometimes the game didn't work, so you bring the game out, you know, and try to clean it up and put it back in. Some people might not know what that was like, you know.
Gotta blow into the cartridge.
Right? That's
power on and off.
First world problems, man. Back in the day, you know, it was good growing up that way, man.
Yeah, man, it was. Okay, cool, man. So another question, man, I want to ask is, how much value do you think your collection is worth right now?
That's a pretty good question, man, because honestly, I'm not 100% sure. Like, I can't give you a definitive number because I haven't really cataloged everything that I have, right? Which might be like a collector's, like, you know, what do you call it? Do's and don'ts, right? Like, don't have a collection and not know what the value is, right? But I do have some idea of how much it's worth because I have some of it cataloged into the price charting. You know, the price charting website where you can see the price of games and stuff like that. I have a good amount of the collection. I want to say maybe about 40% of my collection is in that. And that's already valued in itself about $7,000, something like that.
Wow.
So I would say maybe if I were to encompass the whole collection, right? You're talking like the peripherals, like the Guitar Hero guitars and all the games and all the collector's editions and all the consoles, the limited edition consoles and stuff like that. It's got to be above 10K, easy. Easy. As far as like how much in terms of like a definitive number, I wouldn't be able to tell you, and it would take me weeks to probably fucking come up with that number.
Put everything like the database, right?
Because you know you got like a complete in the box game is not going to be the same price as like just a disc, right? And I have a lot of complete in the box games, and I have some disc only games, and I have manuals that are just blues manuals, and that's also worth like some money, right? Depending on the game. Some games have a like they're rare, and the manual was rare, so you know it's kind of like it could be $3, $4 for the manual, so 50 cents for like some sports game manual or something like that. So it's a lot that I will have to take into consideration, right? Because it's not just like how many games and how much is the price of that game. It's like, is that game complete? Does that game have, you know, scratches? Does that game come with like the bonus disc that it came with, or like the extra material sometimes, like the stickers that come with it or something like that, pre-order bonus, all that shit, you know, all that just kind of makes the value of an item different. So I wouldn't be able to tell you because there are some games that I have everything complete, like, you know, the only off the top of my head, Gears of War 3 came with some stickers, right? I still have them, but there's like, you know, that might drive a little bit of the value up or not. It also depends on the buyer. Somebody might just be looking for Gears 3. Somebody might be looking for complete Gears 3 with the stickers and everything. It just depends, right? So it's a moving target, right? Like the value and stuff. But for sure, I believe it's got to be above 10K. Maybe even higher than that. But you know, I would have to sit down and, you know, catalog everything. Really kind of put everything in there. I get you. Yeah, well, hey, man, that's a pretty good point, you know, that you're at now, you know, that amount. Not saying that it's really about how much your collection is worth, but definitely, you know, like you said, right, a collector should know or should have an idea right, of what, you know, they have in their collection at a certain point. So what do you think the most valuable item is? Man, I was really hoping you didn't ask that because I don't know. I would say, okay, so the price charting, like I mentioned, tells me that my most valuable item in that that I have in that account is the Mortal Kombat 11 limited edition. It comes with the Scorpion statue, the Scorpion helmet.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the most valuable. At least that's what the website tells me is the most valuable. And it is about 500 or something like that. And I think I only paid I paid brand new. So it might have been like $250, something like that. Yeah. I think.
It's probably about double its value.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe not so much. I might be wrong about that. Don't like hold me too accountable on that one. But yeah, I think that one for sure is probably one of the more valuable ones. I don't know why. Maybe that was a more rare limited edition or more rare collector's edition. Maybe they didn't print as many. Console wise, maybe my Infinite series. That's probably going to be the more valuable one because it's a limited collector's edition.
Halo Infinite?
Yeah, and it's a Series X, right? It's the current console. Or maybe the Gears 4 limited, maybe. I'm not too sure, but that's what I've seen from the website. Maybe to me, what would be the most valuable one? And I'm basically just asking myself that question at this point, right? I don't know. I would have to think about that one. Because now you gotta, like I said earlier, now you gotta factor in nostalgia. Yeah. That gives you personal value. Yeah. To you and stuff like that. So I don't know. I'll have to think about it, man. But for sure, maybe one of my favorite would be the Halo 5 statue that I have up there. That's got some lore behind it.
Yeah. You guys might not be able to see it, maybe cut off a little bit, but up here he has a Halo 5,
Halo 5 limited, Halo 5
edition statue.
Yeah.
I actually remember when you got that.
Yeah. And honestly, you might be able to see it right there next to you. Down here, what do you call Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero, complete in the box.
Oh yeah, down here. Yeah, hell yeah.
It's just it was a horrible game. A lot of people it was bad ratings and stuff like that, but I think it's valuable to me because I grew up playing that game, and Sub-Zero's always been my favorite Mortal Kombat character, and I've always been a fan of Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
So that one for sure is I hold it dear. It's not very valuable. It's maybe $30 almost, but it's my only complete in the box Nintendo 64 game, and Nintendo 64 games, Super Nintendo games, original Nintendo, the cases, they were cardboard. So they were deteriorating very fast, right? It's not like your plastic case where you have the disc. So that's a little bit more hard to preserve. Yeah. I think that's probably the best way I can answer that.
Yeah. Alrighty, man. So another follow-up question here that I had, right? As far as the gaming goes, you've been playing video games, pretty much your entire life, right? What would you say is your favorite game that you've played?
My favorite game that I've played. Well, it's pretty easy question, but I think there's a lot of variables that could apply to that. So that makes it not so simple to answer, right? So, are we talking specifics or just in general?
Let's say just somebody asks you, right? Hey, what's your favorite game? Quick response. What would your response be? Skyrim?
Hands down, Skyrim.
Okay. Yeah. What about most played games? Is that the same thing?
Skyrim.
All right.
800 hours or so.
800 hours. Yeah. That's pretty.
Something like that.
That's
something
okay.
Like that. Across Xbox 360 and Xbox One, multiple playthroughs. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So most played game Skyrim. Favorite game Skyrim. What about you?
Before I let you continue, Halo 3 might be a good contender to the most time played. Okay. Because I played a lot of Halo 3 in high school. Okay. And I have no way of tracking how many hours I played of that, but I played a lot of Halo 3.
Oh yeah.
Back to back, after school.
Yes.
Yeah. All I played was Halo.
Okay.
Halo 3.
So I'd consider Skyrim being kind of a new modern game. Mm-hmm. So what would your favorite retro game be?
That's a good question. A favorite retro, so something from original Xbox and before. Would that be a fair question?
I'd say original Xbox would be a good cutoff.
Would that be a fair? Okay.
I'd say Xbox.
That's a good question. Man, there's a lot of good choices there, but I think I would have to give it to Ocarina of Time. Yeah. I think I would have to give it to Ocarina of Time because of my childhood. You know, like I grew up playing that game. There's a ton of other games, like retro games, that I like completely adore and, you know, hold dear. But I just can't, like you said, quick answer. I just gotta give it to Ocarina of Time. Yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same here, man. Ocarina of Time, hands down, my favorite retro game. All right, cool, man. And then just, you know, kind of last question here with the video game aspect. I'll play a little game here. Let's say you could pick 3 games, and these 3 games are the only games that you can play for the rest of your life.
Okay.
3 games that you would be content, right, with playing, that you know, never get tired of it, right, and you know, that kind of thing, right? So 3 games, man. What comes to your mind?
3 games. If you could only eat one food for the rest of the right kind of thing.
Kind of thing,
yeah. So if I could only play 3 games for the rest of my life, what would those 3 games be? That's a good question.
Let's rank them, man. 3, 2, 1.
So from least to best.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh man, yeah, you put me on the spot with that one a little bit. Games that I would never get tired of, man. Well, you got me thinking, because now I got to think about a game that's endless, right?
Yeah.
Like a game that's just not gonna end.
Okay.
Right? Because
yeah.
if you pick a game that's like, for example, like just like a single player experience, right? You can experience everything that there is in that game, and you can finish the game, and, you know, once you get everything, it's like, what else is there, right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about like a game that would go on forever, which there's many, right? Well, I gotta say number 3, and you know what? Before we continue there, I want to go back real quick, just real quick, to the retro question about the favorite retro game.
Okay.
Yes, Ocarina of Time, but I've got to throw a wrench in the works, and I gotta say Sims Bustin' Out, man. Sims Bustin' Out, 100%. Good, strong contender to Ocarina of Time, because while Ocarina of Time was my childhood, Sims Bustin' Out was like my teenage years.
Yeah.
And it was a game that I just absolutely fell in love with, and I've loved the Sims games ever since.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I think number 3 has got to be Sims Bustin' Out.
Okay.
Sims Bustin' Out. I don't think I would get tired of that, because you got the free streak and then you got the career mode, so you can kind of mess with that. And free streak kind of just goes on forever.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
So number 3 would be Sims Bustin' Out. I think maybe number 2 would be Minecraft.
Okay.
Because you could just build endlessly.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Whatever comes to your mind, your creativity is your limit, right? With Minecraft. So I would say that would be number 2, and number 1. I think it's got to be Skyrim, bro. I think it's got to be Skyrim.
Yeah.
I mean, because with Skyrim, after they implemented the legendary update, your character can level up pretty much infinitely.
Mm-hmm.
So you can just keep going, and the map is massive. The even if you explore everything, like some things get repopulated, so you can go back and re-experience, like, you know, the same dungeons and stuff like that, because things respawn in them.
Okay.
So it's got to be Skyrim, because even if you finish the whole map, which is a massive map with a bunch of like locations to discover and explore, you can still go back and you can still keep leveling up, and you can still, you know, and some enemies in Skyrim level up with you. So even if you keep leveling up, enemies keep kind of staying at your level and stuff. Yeah. So, and the alchemy and the crafting and, you know, inventory management, you could just go on forever. Yeah. You can go on forever. And that's kind of what I've been doing with the game, really, you know, with the 800 hours. And so I've done all achievements in Skyrim 360. I'm close to all achievements in Skyrim Special, or what is it? Special Edition? Yeah. And once I'm done with Skyrim Special Edition, we're going to go for Windows. We're gonna keep it going. We're gonna keep it going.
Nice.
So, yeah, that's gotta be. I'm pretty satisfied with that answer. I gotta say.
Pretty good list, man. Yeah, pretty good list.
No doubt.
You know, if somebody gave me, hey, these 3 games, you know, you can only play them. Yeah, I wouldn't be mad. I'd be let's do
Yeah,
it, man.
I think so. Yeah, right.
I'd be all right.
We could keep going with that.
Yeah, hell yeah.
For a good 10, 20, 30 years. Yeah.
Very good list, man. Very good list. All right, so now moving on to the Twitch, right? This is your priority, right? Your kind of your main thing. So, just tell us a little bit about, what your stream is, what you do on your stream, what kind of schedule you run, right?
All right. Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Okay, so there's a lot there, man. There's a lot I can unpack for sure. I'll try to keep it brief, but so I'm a little bit crazy. I'm not gonna lie. I stream 15 hours a day, every day. No days off. No days off. I might take a break here and there. In terms of I might take a day off, once every 3 months. I might take a couple of hours in a stream here, a stream there. I might take a couple of hours, where I do things like go out or I need to, go with family or whatever. But the stream's still live and stuff like that. But I'm live 15 hours a day every day. And as far as the Twitch stream, it's an all-day stream, and I basically just stream my life, right? It's an IRL, and it's a gaming stream. Yeah. So with the IRL, man, what I do is I'll do my, whatever I need to do during the day, whether I need to go to the gym, whether I need to cook, meal prep, whatever, meditation, whatever I'm doing, it's live. I'm doing it live, right? And I'll go to the gym, I'll stream my workouts, I'll need to cook, I'll stream my cooking. Sometimes if I need to clean the house, I'm cleaning the house, I'm live. Mm-hmm. And then there's the gaming aspect of it where that's a little bit more niche, I would say, because what I'm doing with the gaming is I'm trying to complete my backlog. Yeah. Right? So I have been building up the backlog since I started my 360 or my Xbox gamer tag, which is going to be since 2007. Right? In 2007, I created my Xbox profile, and since then I've been building up a backlog. And April of 22 is when I decided to start going after the backlog finally. I'm going to complete my backlog. The thing is, it's not so simple as just completing the game, because I'm a completionist and I'm an achievement hunter. So I'm trying to get all the achievements in every game that I play. So it takes me a bit to complete a game because I'm trying to get all the achievements and stuff. So, but that's mainly the focus of the gaming stream. And we're just trying to get all the achievements in every game that's been in the backlog. Yeah. And there's endless amount of content I have for the game. For sure, man. And we'll put some clips up here on the video while we're talking. So yeah, man, follow-up question to that was, back in the day, right, you were streaming, right? Yeah. From what I can remember, I mean, you would stream, let's say you're playing a certain game, right, and you would stream that game. Right? Yeah. Now what you're doing is you're streaming a certain game where you're streaming a different game every day. Yeah. Right. So you have a schedule. You put up a schedule on Facebook, right? Mm-hmm. And your Discord, right, and that kind of thing, where you put your game. You're playing this on Monday, this on Tuesday, this on Wednesday, Thursday, right? So, what, when was it, or what gave you the idea to kind of start doing that, right? Like start a schedule and stream different games in different days rather than just one game until you complete that, and then to the next and to the next. So yeah, that's a pretty good question. And it's a super simple answer. It's the achievements. The achievements is what made me get a specific order. Okay. And I'm following that order, right? So, but it's interesting that you mentioned that, because yes, I started streaming in 2013, and then I was doing it consistently, and then I stopped. Yeah. And then I was doing it consistently again, and then I stopped again. Yeah. And then I did it consistently during the pandemic, and then I stopped one more time. And then April of 22, I have been doing it nonstop since then. Yeah. Right? So it's been 3 years now since I've been back on the grind, right, for the live streaming. I've been loving it. It's been just great, doing it every day, and I really enjoy it. But as far as what made me want to start, you can go back on the Facebook page, as you mentioned. You can go back all the way to about maybe July of 22 when I started posting schedules. Okay. And that's where you can see that some of the streams are 4 hours, 5 hours, and then you got the 8-hour streams. It's all scheduled there. It's all like there for everybody to see. You can always scroll down and look at what the schedules look like back then and what the schedule looks like now. It's always been with the exception of some like server shutdowns where I prioritize a game and I would play that game all week.
Right.
It's always been this game today, this game the next day, this game the other day, right? And what gave me that idea was just I want to complete the backlog, so I want to work on because I want to give myself some variety, right? Like I've always been a variety streamer, right? So meaning that you play different things, like you play a lot of different games. Like you got streamers that are like skill streamers, like they want to just stream like Overwatch or League of Legends, or and they focus on that game about getting good and stuff like that, climbing the ranks. You got a variety streamer, just plays games, like gaming in general, right? So I've always focused on that, and because I was like focusing on the variety, I decided let me play a different game every day so that I can give myself that variety, and I'm not like just burning out on trying to complete one game straight. Unless they're shutting down the servers, they got online achievements. I'm trying to get that out of the way, right?
Yeah.
That's when I'll make that exception. But that's really what gave me that idea. So from there, I just kind of, brainstormed how I wanted to do it, and I structured it together. I figured out the order I wanted to follow based on like achievements and games, and I've been doing that for about 3 years now.
Yeah.
And so just a little bit of a side note on that. I started at about, so basically like you can do a thing where you can see what completion percentage you have across all of your games.
Yeah.
Right? I think I started at about 62% completion. I am now at 67 as of yesterday.
Nice.
And it's taken 3 years to just get 5% of the completion, right?
Yeah.
But hey, man, I've always said slow, steady wins the race, and I'm still going after it slowly but surely.
Yeah.
And 130 achievements, and I'll be at 68%.
Nice, man. All right, man. Well, that was pretty much all the questions. We got a good amount of time in here. So yeah, man. I mean, follow this guy, man. Zemidek. Zemidek at Twitch. Zemidek Facebook. You have an Instagram, right?
Yeah.
Social medias, right? Everything's at Zemidek. I know Facebook's probably Zemidek Vampire.
I think that's what it is.
Or so Zemidek Vampire, Facebook. Everything else is Zemidek. Streaming every day, right? Variety streamer, right? Streaming a game or a different game pretty much every day. So you want to see something different, right? Check in with Zemidek. He's got a great community. He's on Discord too. Yeah, man. Any last things that you want to add before we finish up?
So I would just like to say that personally, it's not about it's never really been about the growth or the exposure or the fame or getting known and stuff like that. For me, it's really just about spreading the message that I have, and my message is for everyone to just strive to be the best version of themselves that they can be, which is what I'm trying to do. That's why you see me, doing the fitness, the nutrition, right?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to spread a message for people to just, go out and do good and be good to each other, and it's just, that's what it's all about. If the fame and the notoriety comes, good. If it doesn't, fine. Because as long as I've inspired one person, as long as I've inspired somebody to be the best that they can be and to spread good, then I've done my mission. That's really all I can think of. Those are that's the message. That's what I'm here for, and that's what I'm trying to do.
All right, man. Yeah. Well, hopefully this video and interview will help other people, right, get that message to them, and hopefully you reach other people. Thank you for having me, man.
Thank you.
Great,
Appreciate it.
great interview, and more to come, guys. Appreciate your time. Have a good one.